Hello NYWCites, I am the administrator of the NYWC message board, Robert Lottie. Hotter Than Hell 2019 was a great show to wrap up NYWC summer from their home at the NYWC Sportatorium. We start out with a 6-person tag team match as we see the rep, Nate Carter and Dave McCall and Chris, and the missing ingredient, Chris Bishop, as they defeated The Mischief, Mouse, Big Mouse, and Little Mouse in a fun way, great way to open up the show. Second match of the night, we see Aiden Bale defeat Christian Nunez. Then in tag team action, we saw Raymond Shaw and Reggaedonis defeat the combination of Irish and Juba. Up next, it was time for 6-man tag team action as the Fifth Dimension, the Benson Bros, and the Man Bun Jesus, Johnny Radke, did battle representing the Hand, the Cortez brothers, and James Renison, accompanied the ring by the lawyer David. And just before the match got underway, Radke handed me this can of Mountain Dew Liberty Brew. Radke, I was hoping you would have had a can of Dew SA. I was hoping to try that, unless that flavor's not around anymore. And this is pretty good, even though it's warm. But the Hand defeated the Fifth Dimension, and I forgot to mention Fifth Dimension were accompanied to the ring by the Groovy Grizzly. Next, we had a return bout from Back to the Grove. It was a student versus teacher, as Bull James once again defeated Corey Cooper. After the match, Bull took the microphone and he said that he trained Corey, and also he's tired of all these students, doing like getting, all they do is flips. And Bull was about to attack Corey, but out comes Jaden Vallow on crutches, and Vallow's trying to stop him, but then Bull attacks Vallow, and Bull takes one of Vallow's crutches, hands it to Corey, and says, "Show me what you can." Something, I forgot what he said to him, but Corey took the crutch and just waylaid on Vallow. Eventually, pardon me. Corey did a number on Vallow. Willie Wise comes out, and Bull and Corey do a number on him, and Wise even like on top of Vallow trying to protect him until the bunch of referees come out to stop the onslaught. And then after Bull and Corey had left the ring, Wise gets up, and without the microphone, Wise yells September 28th at Bull and Corey would face himself and Vallow in a tag team match. Then, right before our next matchup, out comes Rick Cataldo and said that Sammy Pickles would not get a rematch ever with Tina San Antonio for the Starlet Championship. I forgot what else Cataldo went on to say. And the next match, we see actually a return bout from Drop Kicks at Tropics as Sammy Pickles defeated Izzy McKenna. Next up, we were set to see the New York Wrecking Crew, Chris Seaton and Smooth Blackman challenge Joey Conway and Randy Summers for the Tag Team Championship. Prior to the matchup, Summers gets the microphone and said he was 3-time Tag Team Champions with Brandon Watts, his Milk Chocolate Tag Team partner. Eventually, Summers tells Conway, we're going to use the Freebird rule, and Brandon Watts comes out. And, I think at first Watts was on the floor, and I forgot how it all... Well, basically, to make a long story short, Conway was trying to get a tag. Both Watts and Summers are staying on the apron, and they both jumped off the apron, basically leaving Conway for dead, and the New York Wrecking Crew won the match to become the new tag team champions. And after the match was over, Milk Chocolate attacking Conway until the Wrecking Crew come back out to chase him away, but then out comes the Rep and with Chris Bishop, and they attack NYWK. Pardon me. They attack NYWK. And at that point, I think, yeah, I think, it was Chris Seaton was handcuffed with his arms behind his back, and Smooth Blackman was handcuffed to the rope until Cashflow Ken Broadway hits the ring, and the rep and Bishop hightail it out of there, and they go out the back door. Broadway takes the microphone, says it's been going on for long enough, and eventually Broadway announces that on September 28th at Till I Collapse, it'll be himself and the New York Wrecking Crew to face the Rep and Bishop in the NYWC original match, Cuffed and Caged. At that point in time, they did go to intermission. Didn't last too long. Then out comes Kaysen and Forge, and eventually Kaysen's scheduled opponent Jack Morrissey comes out, and Kaysen talked about the 7 deadly sins, and I don't know. Eventually Kaysen ends up defeating Jack Morrissey in this matchup. Next up, we were set to see Dickie Rods and Salvatore Savelli do battle with for tag team action. Savelli takes the microphone. He says Dickie Rods is an inspiration because Rods shows up at the Sportatorium on Sunday to help train students. And Savelli mentioned John Arpino, who in the last 2 years lost 200 and some odd 50 pounds, and called him an inspiration as well. John comes out in a nice suit and all, and he says to Savelli, he says, "Oh, you know, every month I'm sitting in the back," and I forget what else he ends up saying. And he says, "Yeah, that old picture you see up on the screen, that version of me died 250 pounds ago." And he declared himself Johnny, don't even know what name he said, and slapped Savelli right in the face. And then out come Savelli and Rods' scheduled opponents, the Greek god Papadon and the hand of god Talon. And the match gets underway, and Papadon and Talon ended up defeating Rods and Savelli. And after the matchup, Johnny says to Savelli, "Keep your name out of my mouth. Out of your mouth," he said to him. Next up, we saw the Man of Steel Mike Verna challenge nobody's better, Michael Mistretta, for the Fusion Championship. Michael Mistretta ended up defeating Mike Verna to retain the Fusion title. Up next, we see Tina San Antonio with Rick Cataldo defeat Corinne Mink to retain the Starlet Championship. Then, in a very good four-way matchup, we see the Rancid Kid Bam Sullivan defeat yours truly Alex Reynolds, Matt Stryker, and Ryan Clancy. And after the match, Stryker showed respect to Clancy and Sullivan and offered to shake hands with Reynolds, but Reynolds walked out of the ring. And then in the main event of the great night of action, we saw the Desolate One, Rex Lawless, defeat the Meat Man, John Silver, to retain the Heavyweight Championship. Well, personal note, it was great seeing my fellow NYWCite Sam Katz. And by the way, Sam, you are a heat magnet. Sam Katz equals heat magnet. Great seeing, it's great having Kevin sitting by us. Great seeing Greg, Aaron, Chris Perry, his son Dylan, Charles, Shane, I didn't catch you during the show, Andy Miller. Who else do I remember seeing here? Okay, well, here's the memorable quotes. "I am. It's a headlock." Bull James, when somebody in the crowd yelled, "Do something." "Shouldn't you be in Vegas?" Matt Stryker to Sam when he saw him wearing his AEW shirt. I'm surprised he didn't say to him, "Shouldn't you be in Chicago?" since that's where All Out is taking place Saturday night on pay-per-view. Well, the New York Wrestling Connection kicks off their fall season with Till I Collapse on Saturday, September 28th. Already announced, Rex Lawless defends the heavyweight championship against the number one contender, Bam Sullivan. Cashflow Ken Broadway and the newly crowned tag team champions, the New York Wrecking Crew, do battle with the Rep and Chris Bishop in a cuffed and caged match. And Willie Wise teams up with Jaden Vallow against Bull James and Corey Cooper. I don't know if Vallow is going to be 100% ready for this match, I wonder. I don't know. I would like to see Milk Chocolate take on Joey Conway, and I don't know if he can get himself a partner, who would get for a partner for this match. Great to have Kareen Mink back, and for the first time in months. I sure hope, I don't know when Willow Nightingale's going to be back in the ring, but I sure hope we get some more ladies for the to help this Starlight division, because we can't keep it revolving around Sammy Pickles, even though she's not champion right now. And by the way, NYWC, Chris Perry, Shane, Forge, can anybody clarify exactly where the October 19th show, Firestorm, is going to be held at? Because I know Saturday, October 26th is House of Madness, and that's usually the Fall Classic of NYWC, and I know that'll be at the Sportatorium. But where will Firestorm be held Saturday night, October 19th? I'd like to know the location. Chris Perry, Shane, Forge. Well, I forgot to mention, speaking of Chris's, it was great seeing Chris Giordano, Oliver. Who else did I remember seeing at this event? The crowd wasn't even that big for this very show, and it wasn't that hot in the Sportatorium, unlike past NYWC shows in the summer months in the Sportatorium. Oh, Mischief. What is your new entrance music? Glad Izzy McKenna, I don't know if she'll be around for a regular basis, but glad she got to, even though she wrestled Sammy Pickles again, glad she got to come back, and that was some nice face paint she had on. Geez, can't remember who else was here for this event. My goodness, who else I can think of and remember and such? Sam says, well, actually, I'll tell you one thing right now. Other than the three matches that have already been announced for Till I Collapse and what I'd like to see happen, one thing I can tell you, Shane, I don't know if you're really aware of this, but folks, all five of us have not been together at a show at the NYWC Sportatorium since June, and we have not all been together. All five of us have not been together for an NYWC show ever since Master of the Mat back in May. So it's going to be a nice reunion with myself, Sam, Tommy, Jessica, and her sister Leanne. Another thing, guys. That one lady I'd like to meet, you wouldn't believe this. I backed down from meeting her again. And, right at the time Sam went to the bathroom after the show ended, she walked right by me, and I just couldn't say anything. There's no point in saying hello, knowing that the show was already done. I don't know if I could pull it off. I don't know if I'll ever get to meet her. I'm just, she, I don't know if she walked in long after I got in there. And by the way, it felt like it was a long and winding road to get to this show, because the train I was hoping to take from Jamaica Station never showed up, and then the next one was delayed. Proves that the Long Island Railroad fucking sucks, as well as those rich bastards of the MTA. They can raise the fares but can't better the fucking service. What else could I add to this? Well, even though we had like a night of returns, Matt Stryker had not wrestled. on the show, had not been on the show in months. What other returns did we have? Any returns? So Isaac McKenna returned, Corinne Mink returned, Brandon Watts returned, Cam Broadway made an appearance. But yeah, NYWC, great show. Certainly nice way to end the summer. Great way to leave us, great cliffhangers that you've given us to lead in for Till I Collapse, September 28th. And definitely can't wait for that show. And I don't know if the wheel's going to start turning for the Psycho Circus, which is happening in the month of February. But what a show this was, man. Man, I love NYWC. NYWC rules, and NYWC. 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 See you at Till I Collapse.